and that's the welcoming sign to Two Wheels Better. Once again, we've got lots for you if you're a two-wheel fan, but first we're off to meet Carl Fogarty. This is Man & Motors, Two Wheels Better, and with me I've got Carl Fogarty. Carl, the cast of thousands that's behind Formula One racing these days, how do you get on in World Superbikes? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's getting similar in some ways. You've a big backup team now. I think a couple of years ago you just have a mechanic and two mechanics basically. Now you've got mechanic, engine builder, suspension guy, telemetry guy, right down to the chef. They're all there.
So are they all actually part of the Honda team, or do you get your specialists in from suspension people, tyre people? Are they all one-offs?
Well, Michelin will give us one guy and he'll stay with us the whole year. Suspension guy, we have two. They have their own little separate workshop in the back of the Honda truck, and they're assigned just to us all year. We have obviously our own chef as well, cooking all the food obviously for mechanics and riders and that. Yeah, it's I have an engine. I'm chief mechanic. Then he has another mechanic under him who's the engine builder. Another one who just sort of runs around a few bits and bats really. So it's a hell of a team now.
This telemetry thing, again in Formula One, to draw the analogy. I mean, not only is the car connected up to the pits by radio, but the driver actually speaks. Now, I know you don't speak to your pits, or do you?
It's having a good job. I don't really.
But what sort of information do they get back? Is it sort of engine temperature and suspension settings, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell anything they want to know. They want any information they want. They don't have to ask me anymore, so it has its good points, I suppose. But yeah, you can tell water temperatures, what the engine's revving to, all the suspension movements, everything really. It's just like it's having another rider out there really. It's difficult for me because I can't do anything now without knowing about it.
So they can get all the technical information, but the bits that I know you've had problems with Honda with the front end and whatnot, it must be difficult to get over the fact that the front end doesn't feel quite right, and then they're saying, what do you mean not quite right? And does that get difficult to get over to the team? Yeah,
to be honest, the telemetry's not been any help to me at all this year. I think it's a pretty useless system, to be honest. Everything I come in and say, it just confirms it. Well, I've already said that anyway, so it doesn't really seem to have done anything to help us get the bike any better or set up, in any different sort of way, really.
Tyres must be one of the most significant things in bike racing. I know that you feel the way the bike responds through the tyres. Do you use super soft qualifying tyres at all?
We don't really, no. Michelin don't have a qualifying tyre. Dunlop do have one, which it is annoying sometimes when you get a lot of Dunlop guys up on the first two rows just by putting qualifying tyres in. So. But no, we don't have one. We have a soft tyre obviously, but that will be probably a race tyre on most circuits, like at Assen. I use a soft tyre that they do for qualifying, but it's the same tyre I actually use for the race as well. But some circuits, like Hockenheim, where you got to use a hard tyre for the race, obviously we'll use a softer one just for qualifying, but that will be a race tyre on another track somewhere.
Tyre warmers, again we've seen the tyre warmers on bikes. They really are important to you. You'd notice the difference if you didn't have warm tyres.
Definitely, yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know what it is, but maybe I think tyres have obviously changed a lot. You can't even go out on a tyre cold now. You think, oh, I'll go out and do a few laps, it'll finally come and start working. But I tried that this year in Monza and I couldn't get the tyre to work after 6 laps. So I think the way tyres have developed, that they need the tyre warmers before they actually go out. Like 4 or 5 years ago, you could get away without using them, but now they're just a must. You've got to have them on before you actually go out for practice or for a race.
And you must feel the tyres actually squirming underneath you, and I mean it's your style to actually ride with a bit of bike movement, isn't it?
Yeah, I always feel better when it is moving a little bit. It's nice to get on some tracks where you get that feel and it's moving around a little bit, but. Yeah, it's just the way things have developed. It's just the power of the bikes that they're producing and the way the tyres have gone. It's just nice to get that feel, really.
Suspension is another key part of this, the front to back, and it's a strange science, isn't it, in itself. The front suspension can affect the whole positioning of the bike and steering angle. It gets a complex business, doesn't it?
I think that's probably the oddest thing about bike racing. Is setting the suspension up. Everything else is, I find relatively easy. It's just a suspension. and getting the bike to work good. So a lot of times you don't know the answers. You know, you think you know the right way to go, and when you go that way, it makes it worse. So it's always hard to get a compromise really on any track you go to, especially ones where you got a lot of bumps and things.
Paul's a drag queen. You can hit me now. Hit me hard. No, he's a drag racer. How long have you been drag racing?
This is the first full season I've done. I got into it in the normal way of doing run what you brungs and enjoyed it, and a friend of mine that's into drag racing got me going. And so far this year, I've run better than the bike's ever supposed to perform. I had a win at a meeting that's called the Cannonball. I won the 1090 class there, and so far I've been in the top 6 all season out of 29. Basically it's a standard CBR 1000.
This is the bike you obviously race on.
Yeah, this is my road bike and race bike.
Yeah.
The only modification so far is the swinging arm, exhaust, and a paint job that's done by Steve. We've just been talking about his bike.
Steve, we were talking about the guy with the rat bike, yeah?
That's the one. Rat bike.
Street Fighter!
Yeah, Street Fighter. And really, it's just a love of bikes, and, you know, get on a drag strip and see what it will do. And I've beaten what anyone says it will do, and proven them all wrong so far.
That's your good riding, though. I mean, where can people develop skills like that without sort of going and killing themselves?
Well, a drag strip is quite easily, probably if you want to go fast safely, it's got the best record of accidents in any motorsport. There's been 1 death in 16 years.
That's really good. So you roll safely?
Well, yeah, a friend of mine, Ian Kilner, came off at 153 the other day and walked away. His pocket didn't walk away too light, but he did. You know, it's grassroots. You go into run what you brung, and that's where it all starts. It's safe, like I say, it's got the best safety record ever, and it's really good fun. There's classes that you can just take a standard bike in and go and run it. Any bike that's here could run.
This has been your first season, so how long have you been wanting to do it before you've actually finally got into it, and you've completed your first season in one piece?
Yeah, well, I've been doing run what you brungs for approximately 3 years. You know, and it's development. I've got this bike from running 11.4 seconds down to running 10.908. That again is quicker than Honda says it can, and I'm now talking to Honda.
Good luck with Honda.
Thank you.
Welcome to Two Wheels Better. This week we're in deepest Derbyshire down at Donnington Park for the Dirt Bike Show. Now, Wayne, you're into dirt bikes in a way with your sidecar business that you're up to. Now, are we going to...
I'm into anything that's dirty.
I know. Are we going to spend all day talking to all your mates now and get nothing done?
Right, so Paul, I'll introduce you to a few, and there's certain ones I don't really want them to know you.
Right, well hopefully we'll get something done amongst all this. Right.
Looking forward to it.
Smashing. Let's go and do it.
Whoa, hang on, stop VT. We did do some work. Show some of the interviews. Well then folks, we're on the Gas stand. It's actually John Shirt's trial specialist stand, who's the importer and distributor of the Gas Enduro and Trials bikes. And I've got next to me a world famous rider, Paul Edmondson. And Paul's won just about everything you can think of. In fact, so much, and because of my senility, I haven't got a bloody clue what he's won. I've forgotten everything. So go on then, Paul, tell me what you've won.
Yeah, I've just clinched my 4th World Championship this year. So I've won 4 World Championships, 1 European, and numerous British, Spanish and...
I told you, there's too many of the flipping things. You won it this year, I gather, on a 250 machine, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I moved to the 250 class after winning it on the 125s and clinched the title this year after a long, hard battle with an Italian rider.
You've been with Gas a few years though, haven't you? So what's the score now then? Are you going to stick to Gas?
Well, my plans actually at the moment are I'm going to be heading off the other side of the ocean. I'm going to be going to America next year and racing for Suzuki. It's going to be a new challenge.
Oh, hey, is this fresh off the press, this? Are we hot on the heels of everybody else's knowledge like? Do we know more than anybody else?
At this moment in time, yeah.
Oh, so it's quiet. That isn't a camera. Nobody knows. This is just me and you, mate. Nobody's watching
That's
this.
it, there's just me and you.
Now, off-road bikes are all about fun. You don't have to get involved with the serious competition, but you can. But if you just want to have fun, you buy an off-road bike, but you can't go ripping across the countryside and wrecking everywhere. If you want to do it sensibly, come and speak to these guys. This is Peter Hylett from the TRF, the Trail Riders Fellowship. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Right. So, if I want to buy an off-road bike, I'll come and see you. You'll point me in the right direction. So, what do you do? Where do you go? And more importantly, what's it going to cost me?
We're a national club. We have groups that meet throughout the country, and we ride road legal motorcycles on unsurfaced highways throughout the country. And our people spend a lot of time researching where we can go legally, because that is our main purpose, to ride legally on unsurfaced roads.
Right, yeah. So, and there's a membership, an annual membership fee for this?
It is a £20 membership fee, yes, and for that members get access to legally marked up maps, and also we organise trips to various parts of the country, even going to France and Spain.
Yeah, I make a lot of friends of the same interest, no doubt.
Well, that's the main thing, that you meet people who have a similar interest to yourself, yes.
Right. Excellent. Well, there you go. If you want to do it properly, come and have a word with these guys.
Well, we're on the Two Wheels distribution stand from Swansea, and they're the distributors of LEM motorcycles, these kiddies bikes. Just going to have a word with this young chap here to the left of me. What do you think of these bikes, mate? Do you ride one of these? Oh, just trust me to get a right dummy to interview. Well, the truth of the matter is, we've interviewed a couple of world stars here today at the bike show, a couple of British champions and a couple of British guys that happen to be world champions. They start on these things. They're only little, but when you're little, this is ideal size. They go like wind. They frighten the hell out of you. You can get one of these things for about 800 quid, and you can get a big wheeled version for about £1,000. Absolutely perfect for when you're a young un. So have a word with your dad, see what he'll do for Christmas. And just behind me here is a raced version. And if you get good enough and you go on this here racing bike, you just might win yourself a pot or two.
Well, we're on the KTM stand now, and if you want to look at off-road machines, talk to a man who knows all about off-road. This is Russ Jarman, and Russ, well, I won't tell you what he's done, he'll let him tell you himself.
Oh, thank you very much. I was runner-up in the British four-stroke championship this year on the KTM, and had a lot of success this year. And it's all down to the good products we're using. So
good, excellent. What a salesman! This thing that I'm sat on is an absolute monster. It's enormous. What is it exactly?
It's an adventure bike. It's going to be a limited edition produced by KTM. And it's basically an adventure bike for the now very popular rally raids around Europe, and based on the Dakar bike. The extras include the big fuel tank, as you can all see, and a pannier with a sort of accessory for carrying tyres and all the spare parts you're going to need to get from A to B.
Right. And a cracking 620cc engine.
That's right, single cylinder, 620, very reliable, oil-filled frame, white power forks and rear shock, very good components, all tried and tested in the desert.
And the big question, how much is one of these going to cost?
Well, this is going to be £7,700 around, 300 bikes worldwide. Quite a rare beast, certainly sought after for all of those boys who like that sort of fun.
Right. So get your name down quick if you want one.
Very much so. Get to your KTM dealer, put your deposit down and sit back and wait for the pleasure.
There you go, you've got the message. Don't hang about.
Motorcycle couriers are an effective way of delivering important goods or documents in a quick and simple manner. We've all seen these daredevils weaving in and out of city centre traffic. So who are these guys and what makes them tick? We asked motorcycle courier Gary Ormisher to talk about his work and then we put a tail on him.
I've been dispatching since September '93, so just over 3 years. There is no real formal training to be a courier. All you need basically is a full bike licence, specific courier use insurance, which generally all you need to do is come down to the office with your insurance details, your licence for the managers to see. They'll give you an ID card and some uniform, and basically that's it, you started. So there is no real training to be a courier, but the company have got training schedules and procedures that they do insist on teaching you, because you're representing the company. Although you're self-employed, you are representing Pony Express. What I really like about this job is that because you're on a self-employed basis, you can literally work when you want and how many hours you want. I love motorbikes, I've had them since I was 4, so being on a bike all day long is great, even in the wind and the rain. But you're out and about, you're meeting people, you're doing different things all the time. You don't really have to be a bike enthusiast to enjoy the work, but obviously it helps if you can maintain your own bike and you know what to look for in a bike before you buy it. This bike is a Honda, it's an NTV 650. It's a shaft drive, which is best for the amount of miles that I do, because I've just done 70,000 miles in 12 months, so a chain would not last very long. For me, I've had one of these before, did 125,000 miles in 2 years, absolutely trouble-free. The shaft drive, which is a must, like I say, and it's got a bulletproof shaft drive. The engines have been, I've spoke to lads over the country who have done 300,000–400,000 miles without any problems really. Depending on how you maintain your bike is how long it lasts, basically. Some lads have had their bikes 5 or 6 years and done, humongous amounts of miles. But I've had this one for 12 months now and just done 70,000 miles. And hopefully it should do another 2 or 3 years before I have to start looking at changing it again. You don't tend to get 5 or 6 years out of a bike, because more times than not you get knocked off and the bike's written off and it's not worth repairing, so get another bike. I think you'll find most couriers that you speak to have had accidents and certainly incidents. 9 times out of 10 it's other people's fault. Because you're so vulnerable on a bike, you've got to do as much as you can to make yourself visible and be seen. And it's the bright leathers, the white fairing, headlight on. Couriers are a lot safer on the road than other people, because it's your livelihood. You do make sure you check your mirrors, you do look behind you, you manoeuvre correctly. Your life depends on you working, and if you can't work through being reckless, then it's not right. In the 3 years I've been doing this, I've delivered all sorts of things. I remember when England played Colombia, one of the van drivers, one of the lads, took the kit and the strip and the training gear down from a company in Macclesfield who had printed all the shirts and that with the green flag emblem. And it's about 5 o'clock, a call came through to the office that the shorts had been left behind, and I was the next bike, so I had to take the shorts down to Wembley Stadium for the England game. And it was about 5 o'clock when I left, and I literally had 2.5 hours to get there with the strip, or else they were going to have to wear the away kit. And I actually managed to get there for about 7:30. Legally of course.
Aye.
Special delivery for 2 wheels better.
Thanks very much.
And just print and sign on that.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Right, bye now. Bye.
Well, there's all kinds of different bikes. We've got 125 bikes, learner legal bikes, little bikes, commuter bikes, trailer bikes, old bikes that look like new bikes, big enduro bikes, sports bikes, touring bikes, posy bikes, custom bikes, wall-to-wall bikes. But come and have a look at this bike. But this is the one. This is one of the bikes for me. Honda's CBR 900 Fireblade. This was introduced in 1992. Now, there's not many bikes that would stay at the top of their particular class for 4 years, but this one has done just that. I mean, ask anybody, ask a non-biker to name you a fast bike. Chances are their answer will probably be, oh, one of them Fireblade things. So, why is it so good? Well, it's got a transverse 4-cylinder engine, water-cooled, double overhead cam, 16 valves, 4 38mm carbs, and it produces a claimed 126 brake horsepower. Now that's within 3 or 4 brake horsepower of its rivals, namely Suzuki's GSX-Rs, Kawasaki's ZX-7s, the ZX-9s and Ducati's 916. So there's nothing special there. It's got a 6-speed gearbox, but then so have the rest. Braking on this is typical sports bike brakes. Twin discs at the front with 4-piston calipers and a conventional single disc at the rear. The thing about this is now 4 years old, this bike, and when it was new it would have cost just over £7,000. It's now worth just over £6,000, so that's only £1,000 in 4 years. That's not bad depreciation. The key really to the success and the popularity of the Fireblade is that it's really only physically a 600cc size of bike, but it's got the punch of the 900cc, and that gives it tremendous agility and fantastic handling characteristics. And it does 165 miles per hour, and it looks the business. Well, what about that? Absolutely blistering performance, awesomely powerful, incredible machine. This is a fantastic machine, isn't it, really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the bike that, well, I mean, it's been around a long time now, 4 years.
4 years, still the top of the tree. It's the benchmark as far as sports bikes are concerned.
Right.
At least this is what the other manufacturers are trying to complete with.
Everything has to live up to the Fireblade these days.
Absolutely,
So, do you carry a demonstrator, one of these?
We have had them in the past. We haven't got one currently because we've sold out of all this year's models.
You can't get enough of them?
We can't get enough of them, and second-hand ones like this are like proverbial hen's teeth.
Right.
Tremendous.
Yeah, they are. They're brilliant, yeah. So what would a new one of these cost? This is like, say, worth £6,000, 6 and a bit grand now, 4 years old.
Currently about 9.5.
Right. And do you find the lads that bring these in, what do they buy?
More often than not, they're replacing them for a new Fireblade.
The same bike, yeah. Tremendous. Well, there you go. Speaks for itself.
That's all for this week, but remember the International Bike Show at the NEC? If you're named here, you've won a copy of the official Bike Show video. Congratulations. Watch out for further competitions here on Two Wheels Better. The answer to the question, it's 100 years of motorcycling we're celebrating this year. Looking for suitable Christmas presents for a biker bloke or a biker babe? Next week, Jeff Stone will present his guide to make every two-wheel addict's Christmas. Santa does deliver the presents on a bike, doesn't he?